I was lacking self-worth and I wanted validation. I wanted someone to tell me that I'm worthy in this world, that I fit in, I belong. I just felt alone. I was like, what's my purpose? I felt lost. And that's where the spiritual realm comes in. So transcendence, and this is what yoga teaches, is you're realizing your true self. You're realizing that you're not a body, that you're already whole, complete and perfect on a spiritual level. And self-realization or transcendence is about seeing that you don't need to better yourself. You're already perfect and whole. And that we're in the world but not of it. Surely, how can you use those circumstances to be healthy, happy, loving, compassionate and kind? I always thought that I need a certain amount of money to be happy or a certain diet to be happy. Yeah. Some of us don't have access to that. How can you stay healthy? Let's say if you've got a very low income, or all you've got access to is really crappy food or no teachers or no internet. Mm-hmm. Surely, how can you use those circumstances to be healthy, happy, loving, compassionate and kind? Yeah. And the answer is you can. It's in here.
On this week's episode of Disciples of Truth, we have Rakesh Patel on, the Dreamweaver. He's a health and wellbeing yoga teacher and holistic practitioner.
Hi, Greg. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
That was great for the 50th time.
Can we keep this one in?
He didn't even think we were going to start then.
Keep this one in.
I wanted to start really with how your journey came into getting into yoga.
Okay, I'll try and keep this short because it's
no, go as long as you need to.
Oh, okay, cool. So when I was younger, I was afflicted with all sorts of health problems.
Yeah.
Mental health, which I didn't know I had because I was new to the world, so I didn't know it was even a thing.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a normal part of life, like this is life. Health problems, I had asthma, bad guts, I was overweight. So there's a lot of physical issues as well. Yeah. And I just found life really hard. I thought, where have I come to? Where am I? What is this? It feels like a nightmare.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in hell. And it was like that for many, many years. I just struggled a lot. And the only solace I used to find was behind music, listening to music and in video games.
Yeah.
Obviously, spending that much time behind a screen and in my bedroom didn't really help my health any further. And it's as I got older, one thing led to another and we ended up, we used to play sports. Obviously really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And that kept us fit and healthy. But then I ended up finding the gym and got into the gym.
Yeah.
But being young and naive, didn't do any research or have any support or teachers behind us.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of did it off our own backs, made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And started with the whole weights thing.
Yeah.
I want to get jacked.
Yeah.
But looking back, it was all due to fear. I wanted to, where I grew up, I felt under threat all the time. And I thought, how can I protect myself?
Yeah.
And it was actually The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
We used to watch wrestling, WWF back in the day.
Smell what the Rock is cooking.
And I used to think, oh my God, look at his physique. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And he's such a nice person. He's charismatic. He's the good guy.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to, defend myself like he is.
Yeah.
And that's when I got into bodybuilding. And that was my goal. Continued on that path for a little while. Ended up going to uni, continued the bodybuilding journey. Me and my brother used to actually watch martial arts movies as a kid, Jean-Claude Van Damme films, Bruce Lee films, all the classics. Yeah. And then I was walking in the gym one day, this was when I was at uni, and I saw who ended up becoming my martial arts instructor.
Yeah.
He still trades and leads. Shout out to Ricky, actually. He's a really good martial arts instructor.
Yeah.
I saw him in teaching a class at Virgin Active, and I thought, I want to be able to kick like that. It was Taekwondo. And I thought, wow, that guy's impressive. And he looks authentic and traditional. So I joined up learning martial arts.
Yeah.
Anyway, just to kind of fast forward a little bit, I think what was driving this desire, this journey was when I used to watch these martial arts movies, I could tell there was more to life than just the physical. I thought there's got to be there's something in the unseen realm.
Yeah.
And I want to learn what that is. There's something mystical about the martial arts.
Yeah.
So continued on this martial arts journey, trying to find this thing subconsciously. And then CrossFit came along and I found that and I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for all along. Yeah. But it was still in the physical realm. So that continued for many years. I did open a couple of CrossFit gyms.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a that was a very significant part of my journey.
Yeah.
I learned a lot through that, but again, I still didn't find what I was looking for. Ended up moving into more movement-based training, gym called Sudden Movements in Leeds. And I learned about different styles of movement. I thought, this is really interesting. It started to open up the doors even more.
Yeah.
And eventually I went onto the path of yoga because I thought, okay, where am I going to learn this spiritual stuff?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't find, again, everything was physical or everything was about achieving something in the world. And I knew that physical attainment wasn't going to fulfill this whole. I'd achieved having a business, a partner. Everything was perfect on paper, but I still wasn't happy inside. Kind of a little bit like what you told me earlier. And I was just like, what's this thing that's missing? Happened to come across a book called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer.
Oh, I've got it, yeah.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've listened a lot to him as well. And
Yeah.
I just love his insights. Just love his insights.
have you read his second one, The Surrender Experiment?
No.
So there was a lot of the way they talked in those books and what they were talking about opened up a whole nother another way of thinking for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then ever since then, the journey inwards has been very fruitful. It's been difficult. It's not been easy because it's uncovered a lot of subconscious patterns, which I didn't realize were running my life. And it's only that when I've uncovered it, I've gone, oh my God, this has been running my life for so long.
Yeah.
So it's been a process of building myself up, covering up, I guess, my traumas, my fear with externals, not knowing I was doing it, of course. And then finding, I guess, the spiritual path, having an awakening in 2014, I think it was.
Wow.
After reading that Untethered Soul.
Yeah.
And then I just started to peel the layers back. And then as a result of that, the things that I was once driven by were just started to fall away.
Yeah.
And since then, the path of yoga has called to me.
Yeah.
I still do other stuff. I still lift weights. I still run.
Yeah.
I still go bouldering. But the teachings of yoga really resonate with my heart. And I think that's got something to do with my cultural background, being an Indian and growing up in a Hindu family.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I feel like I've come home to my true self.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So yeah, that's been the journey.
Is there any standout moments that you see when you're uncovering these fears that you'd like to share? Is there one standout one that you realised that you needed to overcome a certain fear?
Oh gosh, yeah.
And, if you don't mind sharing.
No, I'll share this one because I think a lot of men, to be fair, even women potentially, especially in the modern world, sexuality was a big struggle of mine.
Yeah.
Sex was like a big driver for me. So when I was younger, I wasn't particularly an attractive bloke.
Yeah.
But then as I got older, I started to get more attention.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I wanted that attention. We used to watch pornography at a very young age.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of like sex felt like such a pleasure and an allure. It was like there was a temptation behind it. And at that age, it became something I couldn't have, but I wanted to taste it because it seemed so incredible. And then obviously when you start, playing with yourself, masturbation and whatnot, and you're like, oh my God, this feels incredible. Wouldn't it be nice to have someone else do it?
Yeah.
And then you get attracted to the visuals. So material possessions, like you see a beautiful woman or you see a beautiful car or a beautiful home, you want to own it, you want to possess it, you want to touch it.
Yeah.
And so that was driving my life for a long time, but I didn't realize that. So a lot of my goals, when I was setting my goals, when I was disciplining myself to achieve X, Y, and Z, all my plans were based on subconsciously trying to fulfill those desires from childhood. Yeah. And so the life I'd built, I thought, oh, I'm doing good here. This is great. But the subconscious drivers were pleasure, seeking pleasure.
Yeah, lust, yeah.
Sorry, go on, mate.
No, it's like we build an identity upon that drive as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it became because when I started to get attention, when I built my body, when I had the externals and I started to get the reputation, I was a gym owner and I was the head coach, if you like. I think subconsciously it was getting to me.
Yeah.
The power trip, and it's what I was actually looking for when I've worked it back is I was lacking self-worth and I wanted validation. I wanted someone to tell me that I'm worthy in this world, that I fit in, I belong.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. I just felt alone. I was like, what's my purpose? I felt lost.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
So I was trying to build a persona that people would like, and then I'd get that validation through, other people validating me. And as a man, when you're younger, you pick up this idea that the more women you sleep with, the more valuable you are as a man. You want to be the alpha. And that's kind of the journey I went on.
Yeah.
And then I wondered why it was being pulled away from me. And then I realized, hold on a minute, this potentially is, I never used to believe in God. I haven't seen God, but I feel like there's a mystical power there somewhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like this mystical hand was going, right, you've suffered long enough. I'm gonna pull the veil back now so you can actually see what's been going on.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna bring you home. That's what it felt like. So,
that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can feel that as you say it. No, it's right in front of your eyes, but once you're in it doesn't feel like that, does it? It don't feel like that at all. So what ages were you at around them times that you discovered yoga?
So I didn't, when we were younger, me and my brother used to watch these martial arts movies, the Jean-Claude Van Damme ones. And in it, I think the seeds were already being planted that there's another way.
Yeah.
There's a mystical way. And you'd always see the good guy, usually Van Damme in that case. He'd have his eyes closed, he'd meditate, he'd sit in cross-legged position.
Yeah. And
he'd respect life. And I thought that was planting the seed at that age. In 2010 or 2011, I think it was, I ended up getting a life coach.
Oh.
And she wrote a blog post about the untethered soul.
Yeah.
And it's in 2014, I ended up reading that book. It was after I'd proposed to my now ex-wife.
Yeah, yeah.
And she had the book on her bedside table. I was like, oh, do you mind if I read this? It was literally the day after I proposed to her, and we sat in the garden and I read this book. And my mind just went silent for about 3 seconds, and I felt this peace that I'd never felt before, ever. And in that moment, I became aware that I was thinking. I could hear the voice in my head.
Oh, cool.
Before that, I didn't know I was thinking. How mad is that?
Yeah.
In that moment, I thought, what's this voice in my head? I became aware of the voice. And then I realized that voice was the thing that had been running my life for all this time. So it was around that period when it really started to become conscious, between 2011 and 2014.
Yeah.
I'd say 2014 was a significant shift. And it's been since then that the journey's got kind of deeper, but a lot of layers have been pulled back.
Yeah.
So the life I'd built, even the body that I've built, I just started to strip back.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely been, it's been the grace of God, I would say.
Yeah.
Or all the unnecessary stuff's been pulled back so my true self can be revealed.
Yeah.
And a classic example is I wanted more muscle. I wanted to be the big jacked hench guy.
Yeah.
But looking back, comparing it to how I feel now, I feel way better and much more healthy now.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was not about being jacked or not being jacked. It's about, are you being your true self? Are you living in accordance with your own nature?
Yeah.
Not The Rock's, not Jean-Claude Van Damme, not Bruce Lee. Are you living in accordance with your nature?
Yeah.
So then, since then, it's been a matter of sorting and sifting through. Does this resonate with me? Not because if I got rid of something, I used to think, oh, this is nonsense. This needs to be destroyed. I'd have something against it.
Yeah.
And then I realized, hold on a minute. For some people, this might be golden. Bodybuilding, for example, doesn't really suit my body. I don't feel great off it. But for some people, it's their,
yeah,
it just
bread
really
and butter, isn't it?
It's their bread and butter, yeah. But it's not to say that bodybuilding is right or wrong. It's just a neutral tool.
Yeah.
And then when I started realizing, hold on a minute, I don't have to follow somebody else's path. I can carve my own. And that's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And that's what I help clients do as well. So.
Yeah, because I was watching a guy the other day, and I can't remember who he was just saying, if you want to do great things in this life, like having one or two attributes and putting them together, not going to make you really unique. If you can pick 3 different things and put them together, you're going to be pretty unique, and also be able to show people and coach people. And that's what you're doing yourself. It's like, for me, mobility when I see the way that you move, and I've seen other people move, and you're just like, that's what I want. That's what I want, to be able to move better than what I could as a kid, because we move like we're robots. And it surprises people. I was working at a job the other day, and she'd seen me like crouched down on this thing, trying to get down, squatting rather than kneeling. She went, you look like like a hobbit. But I mean, at least you can get that. Your muscles are allowing you to do that without cramping out. What was it that drew you to mobility?
A lot of pain and suffering.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite teachers, Ramdas, the late Ramdas, he's a spiritual teacher. I don't know if you've heard of him. So he talks about grace being suffering being grace. And I thought there's got to be a reason for suffering. And I think the Buddha talks about this in his teachings as well. Life is suffering, and how can we use suffering? And I thought, I've got to use this to discover stuff. So I was going through, I could just feel discord in my mind, in my body, in my emotions.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, instead of trying to push this thing away, let me look at it. What's it teaching me? And the analogy I use is, imagine you've got a leak in the roof somewhere. You've got a burst pipe, and you see the water coming through. You think, oh, I'll just paint over. Oh, the ceiling's damp.
Yeah.
It just looks weird. I just need to paint it. So you paint over it. Oh, it's gone now. And then again, it just comes back because you haven't found the root cause. So what I started to do was I started to look at my suffering, and I started to trace it. Right, where's this leading? Until I found the root cause. And then what that led me to do was change the way I trained. Because when I looked, rather than avoid, I found the root cause, and I thought, oh, hold on a minute, this makes so much sense. I'm going to start to train differently now.
Yeah.
And I was able to see the laws of, if you think of the laws of physics, I thought, okay, people say, push hard, you've got to feel the pain, no gain.
Yeah.
I thought, hold on a minute, let me question that, because this hurts. And I thought, if I'm cold and I go next to a fire, if I get really close, I'm going to hurt myself. I'm going to burn myself. If I get just right, it feels nice. If I'm too far away, I'm still going to be too cold. So it's trying to find that balance, yeah. But then there's often times when, let's say you need to save someone from a burning building. If you're a firefighter, for example, you might choose to go into that building and feel the pain, because in that life, saving somebody's life is the priority, it's the big goal. But if we're doing that on a daily basis, we can end up damaging ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I started to question my training style. And then I started to chop and change and use the modality of different methods of training. And I started looking at a guy called Ido Portal.
All right.
He was Conor McGregor's, when Conor McGregor was in his
prime
peak.
Yeah.
And he was doing, I don't know if you remember Conor's famous ring walk, where he was like going side to side. He was actually warming up his spine. And I thought, obviously it was a bit of a show from Conor, but he was working with a guy called Ido Portal at the time.
Yeah.
And it was all about movement and being able to move freely in space, but not just be able to generate force as well.
Yeah.
So, and it just came to me. I thought, hold on, we live in a 3-dimensional space. Usually we live in kind of a dome, right? So you've got a floor.
Yeah. And
then you can move in all this space around you. But how often do we move within that space? We often don't. The movements are all very linear, straight line. And we apply force in straight lines, which is useful, and we need that. But why am I not moving more freely? And when I started to explore wider ranges of movement, different styles of movement, my body started to adapt, because obviously what we give it, the stresses we put on the body then adapts.
Yeah.
And it was from when I started to question my suffering. Why is this here? Not let's just get rid of it. Why is it here?
It's a compass.
Yeah.
It's just compass. Yeah. Well, I think then you can also take that into other parts of your life, of like where the suffering is and where you're feeling really discomfort. See it as that's where you need to head to, rather find your way to lead towards that instead of running away, avoiding, because it just comes back. It comes back in a worse form, doesn't it?
Yeah, hand up for that one. I'm
still experienced.
Mate, tell me about it. I've run away for a lot of my life.
Yeah.
And I just thought, Yeah, I'll use my body as an example. So I've got naturally quite slim legs.
Yep.
But even when I did a lot of squatting, they never got much bigger, but they were bigger than they are now. But I didn't feel any more stable. I actually feel more stable now, even though I've lost weight and muscle mass. And I thought, where's my stability coming from? Why do I feel so much more powerful in my legs, even though I've got less muscle mass? And it's because I'm no longer running in my head. I'm no longer running from situations. Because for me, I thought, I'm feeling this negative feeling when I go in this environment. I'm just not going to go in that environment.
Yeah.
Or I'm not going to go to work because when I go to work, I feel like I can't be my true self, so I just won't go to work.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, how am I going to make a living? I'll just learn to adapt. But actually what I really wanted to do was be part of the world. I was trying to run away, but where can I run away to? There's nowhere I'm going to be able to go.
No.
I can't run away from my own mind. And it's only when I started thinking, okay, I'm still suffering. Okay, I've done my meditation. I've done my physical activity. What's missing now? And it was the connection with this body and the outside world.
Yeah.
I think what I'd done when I was younger, I'd not worked on myself, like knowing who I am.
Yeah.
That relationship with myself, it was all external. So I had the external, but I didn't have the internal. So it was a weak foundation.
Yeah.
As the years went on since that awakening in 2014, I stripped it all back. I was able to work on myself, the foundation, the unseen realm. And now I feel like what's coming is the outer starting to build.
Yeah.
A bit like, like this room in here, like you've done, there's a lot behind what you don't see.
Yeah.
And that's where the structure of this room, you don't see the plumbing, you don't see the plaster work, you don't see the screws and all that, but that's what holds everything together, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, I've been going on this at the moment of you've got to build off a solid foundation, whatever you're going to do. And that I think I'm trying to figure out my way of my workouts and stuff where I feel like my workouts are getting to a decent stage and then certain things are happening, but you are tweaking it each time. It's not like you're not going anywhere. I think they used analogy the other day of like a magnet ball going down a slide. One that goes straight down and one that goes down like hoops. The one that goes down and makes the like divots and looks like it's going sideways gets to the bottom faster than the one that just goes directly down. So you're making progress as long as you're being consciously aware of what's going on. You are fine tweaking. I find it really interesting as well. And for mine recently is I'm doing all these workouts. I'm trying to get I'm thinking of going on a cleanse because my mind's so busy. I don't know if it's with the parasite or whatever it may be, and trying to get that where you're in present moment rather than blowing it out of proportion all the time. But it's having a look, isn't it? So how long has it taken you to get to the full range of movements that you're doing now?
It's been a long journey. I would say a good 10 years.
Yeah.
What I've noticed is, like you were using with the analogy of the waves, it's been like making progress and then dip, making progress, dip, but the dips haven't been as low as before. So there's always if you were to average it out, it's like a linear progression.
Yeah.
I've noticed it happens faster when I first notice the mental block.
Yeah.
So I have to first make the change on a mental level, and then it seems to translate physically. So the more training I do, if I don't work the mental first, the physical doesn't change.
Right.
So the meditation has become more powerful now. And I think for me, that's what yoga is. For me, yoga is 95% in the unseen realm, what people don't see, and the 5% is the asana. Even the breath work is, for me, physical.
Yeah.
But when I started watching everything, not trying to change anything. So if I had a busy mind, I'd just watch it. I'd watch everything come up.
Yeah.
If I felt paralyzed, I'd just sit with the paralysis.
Yeah.
If I felt hungry, I'd sit with the hunger. And then if I was drawn to move to go and eat, I'd watch myself eating. I became super mindful. I practiced mindfulness.
Yeah.
And just like anything, if you don't look, you don't see. If I don't look at the leak in the roof and I just ignore it, or if I don't look at it out of sight, out of mind, but it's still there.
Yeah.
And if I look, it might mean I might have to pull the plaster down. I have to pull the plasterboard off and then find the route to get to the leaking pipe or whatever. I might need to change the pipes. But what seems like destruction allows you to get into where you need to get into, because it's been covered up, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So when you fix the foundation, everything works again. And you can use an analogy, I guess, of an electrical circuit. Yeah. If there's a fuse missing, you've got to pull things back, replace the fuse, the room lights up again.
Yeah. And I think it's like as we cling on as well to this persona and personality of what we are, and we don't want to start at ground zero, but you're not, like you say, in them dips. They're not as low as they were before because you've learned, but it is about rebirthing and shedding that old skin. But there's a part of your ego going, no, I'm quite comfortable where I'm at.
Yeah.
But it's all necessary, isn't it?
Yeah.
When did you first get into like meditation then and started pairing that with yoga, or did it come in hand at the start of your journey?
No, it's only when I heard about it. I think it would have been around maybe like between 2011 and 2014 in that period, and came across the Headspace app, hearing the word meditation. I didn't know if I was doing it right or not. I used to follow guided meditations. And it was very difficult because I just wanted to move. I just wanted to do stuff.
Yep.
Being very physically orientated, having a very high energy. Mm-hmm. And over the years, I've found that that energy's become more balanced. It's become more grounded and focused. Yeah. Yes, I'm not as say strong in weightlifting as I used to be, but I'm stronger across a broader range of activities. Yeah. Which is more conducive to human life, because my life was purely based around the gym, but life is more than the gym. I was like, Rax, life is relationship, life is finances, life is time for yourself, life is interacting with local people. It's sleep, it's nutrition, it's time to cook, it's time to learn new things. But because I was so fixated on the gym, everything became about the gym. And so obviously all my eggs were in one basket. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't a rounded human. Yeah. And so what I've done now is through the meditation process, because what I realized was thoughts were coming up. They were coming up so fast. I was acting on them. But the only reason we act on thoughts is because there's an emotional feeling behind it. Yeah. So if I felt, say I saw a beautiful woman and I was attracted to her, the attraction feeling, the lustful feeling, it's all very quick, isn't it? Yeah. And you can get, I'm feeling, I need to go and do something. Yeah. But when I watched that process and I interrupted it, I think they talk about it in the Chimp Paradox. I don't know if you've read that book. No. You can interrupt that process between stimulus and response, and you can get in the middle. Once you get in the middle, you can see it in action and go, hold on a minute, I don't need to respond to this or react to this situation. I need this.
Yeah, you have to send me that book.
And you can pull it. Yeah, it's called the Chimp Paradox. And you can break and you can interrupt that process. Yeah. And I started going, hold on a minute. This I'm chasing an illusion here. It's a fantasy in my head. And I'll share this because I'm not afraid to talk about this anymore. Yeah, but when I was with my ex was an incredible woman. I loved her to bits. She's probably get tears talking about her because she's pretty great. Yeah. But I wasn't in my right mind. Yeah. And there was another woman who I was friends with, and she was a gorgeous soul as well. Beautiful woman, like visually very attractive as a person, a great person. Still have a lot of respect for her as well. Mm-hmm. But I'd created an image in my head of who she was. Because I thought, I think she really likes me. Imagine life with her. What would it be like? You know, when you start thinking of use your imagination. Yeah. I'd love to build a life with her. She's great. She's soft. You know, she's beautiful. She likes what I like. And I started to flirt with her, even though she had a partner and I was in a relationship. Yeah. And she didn't do anything. She stayed faithful to her partner. But I wanted to pursue her. I ended up telling my ex about her, and we ended, long story short, we ended up breaking up, having a break, and then, you know, we split eventually. Yeah. But what that taught me was I'd been chasing illusions in my head. Oh, imagine that car. Imagine having a Lamborghini. Yeah. Imagine the feeling of it. Now you go and set a plan to go and get it. So I was listening to my ego, and I wasn't listening to the voice of my soul, because I didn't even know that there was a voice for my soul. Yeah. So the meditation process, what it helped me do was really, as I mentioned earlier on, I think at the beginning, I was sorting out the false from the true. What's the voice of the ego and what's my true voice? How do I discern the difference? Yeah. And I came across a book called A Course in Miracles. This is like my Bible. If I'm going to recommend a book to anyone,
You're gonna have to send me some of these.
It'd be that
the
one.
Listeners, because
Yeah, it's just an incredible book. I mean, it doesn't resonate with everyone.
Yeah.
And what I like about the Course in Miracles, it's very neutral, and it even says you don't need to read this book to reach the same goal. There's many paths. There's people that are living what's in this book, but they haven't even read it. They don't even know it exists.
Yeah.
But there's many paths to the same goal. And it made me see that I was listening to the wrong voice in my head, which is why I was chasing things which weren't going to be fulfilling.
Yeah.
It's like when you chase a mirage in the desert, there's no water there.
Yeah.
So over the years, I started going, right, I need to practice mindfulness. I need to catch my thoughts. Are these true thoughts? How do I know? And I'd just wait. And then the answer would come to me and it'd be like, I could feel it, and I'd get inspiration, and it would say, this is not your true voice. Do not chase this.
Yeah.
And then I'd feel this massive release in my body. My nervous system would just go, huh. And then I'd go to the gym and I'd be like, hold on a minute, why has my splits just got better all of a sudden?
Yeah.
And I think it's got to be related to what I've just let go of in the mind.
Yeah. The energy of letting go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very interesting. The synchronicity of you saying that. We went out last week in Skipton, and we'd ordered some food, and I went outside for a cigar, and there were a lady just ended up talking to me, and she was on about, she said her friend just got started on it, it's ruined her night, and she suffers with anxiety, and she really opened up, and she was on about, she's had kids, and she went, I get these sick thoughts of doing things to them. I'm like, have you though? And she's like, no. And I'm like, you just, the thoughts. And she went, yeah, but I'm a bad person. I went, you're not. And I'm like, if you hadn't acted on them, I says, it's like looking back at cartoons, you see an angel and a devil on the shoulder.
Yeah.
You are the person who gets to decide that thought if you act upon it. And she went, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I said, the more that you keep on asking what's wrong for you, the universe will keep on feeding you more things to look at and drive you down. I says, it's not like I was saying, there's a compass there to go get into meditation. I says, go search Alan Watts. I says, even if it doesn't resonate with you, I says, the act of searching that on YouTube or whatever you search it on will give up the algorithm for meditate, something to fall upon. And with you saying that as well, I've realised how I've definitely got some kind of form of ADHD. I can act on these thoughts. Often, even when I'm doing podcasts in the morning with whoever's coming, if there's an hour free, rather than sit there and just chill, my mind's like fill gap, and you end up, the energy that you've give up to all them, and then you're racing against time to make it happen. So I find you're going to have to send me that book, because it's definitely somewhere I need to catch them thoughts and stop being so impulsive with it, because I know I'm not the only person that's going kind of through that. You are acting directly as soon as that thought comes through. You're like, sending yourself into panic mode when you don't really need to. And I'm going to ask for some advice, just because I haven't been meditating recently as much as I was since we've had the dog. And I found it hard to sit in meditation. I used to be able to do 1 to 2 hours and it was easy. How do you get through the uncomfortability of just the silence sometimes in the meditation? What's your, like, when you're feeling really restless, how do you get through it?
Do you know what? That's a great question, that.
Yeah.
So I got caught in I guess it's not a trap. It's an avenue I explored, which was to cut myself off from the world.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go deeper into meditation. So I used to spend, especially during COVID, and after I'd split from my ex, I had a lot of free time. I got into quite a lot of debt, and I just couldn't get myself back on my feet financially.
Yeah.
So I was just doing odd jobs here and there, but I had a lot of free time. So I used to walk and sit on park benches and just spend time meditating. But I was still frustrated. I still wanted to move and do things. I found it uncomfortable to sit in that silence. I just did what I could. So I practiced and I just sat with it. When I couldn't take it anymore, I just thought, right, I'll go and do what I'm naturally impelled to do next, which might be go and grab a coffee, or go home, go and do some cooking, or go and meet some friends or go and do a workout, whatever it might have been.
Yeah.
But initially I tried to force myself to stay there. And I very quickly realized that's like trying to hold your pee in.
Yeah.
When, if you've got access to the loo, just go. You can hold it in if you need to, like if you're stuck and you don't have access to a toilet. Okay, I could pee my pants, or I could just wait and try and hold it in.
Yeah.
So in that case, okay, I'm going to choose to hold it. So I tried both approaches. And then I realized, hold on a minute, neither of them actually matter. Because behind thought, behind emotion, behind physical activity, behind physical sensations and sense perception, there's a silent space, which is where we are anyway. That's our true self.
Yeah.
And what I found over time was that I don't need to be in certain settings to meditate or to see that I'm already at peace. That state of peace is there all the time.
Yeah.
And coming across various teachers like Ramana Maharshi, Nisargadatta Maharaj, Rupert Spira, the Alan Watts, all the teachings almost came full circle for me. And I thought, hold on a minute, these guys are all pointing to exactly the same thing. Adyashanti was another one, where they were talking about the silent space of awareness behind the world. And it's a meditation that I kind of quickly came up with when I worked at Virgin Active, and I called it the scientist meditation. So if at any given moment, well, no matter where you are in this human experience we're having right now, irrespective of what we believe in about the past or the future, or if there's a God or a multiverse or whatever, if we just come to the here and now, at any one time, the most of us, we have the five senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. We're thinking in the form of words, whatever your language is, whether it's English, Chinese, French, Hindi, or whatever it might be. You've got images in your head, visuals, you've got emotions, and all the stuff that's going on inside. But behind all of that is the witness, consciousness or awareness, whatever you want to call it. And that awareness is aware of these phenomena. Now, a scientist, when they're looking at something, would go in objectively. Yeah. But a scientist looking under a microscope at something would look at the dish objectively. But what if you were to look at your body and your mind objectively as awareness? Because people think, I'm my body, I'm my thoughts. But who's observing the thoughts and the body? You must be behind that. So just like a scientist behind a microscope would be behind the microscope, in this case, the body and the mind is the microscope. So it's a bit like being in an avatar, and that avatar has feelings and it can think, but you're behind that and you're witness to it all. So if you were to be objective, we'd see that, okay, I can think negative and I can think positive, but nonetheless, the two sides of the same coin. It's just thought. Yeah. If there's a feeling, I could have negative feelings and positive feelings. Two sides of the same coin. Yeah. It's funny, you've got coins on the floor as well in your floor. If you step back from it and if you were to be a scientist, you just sit in the middle. Yeah. And if I look objectively, I realize that I'm neither the positive or the negative thought. I can't be what I think. I can be witness to thinking, but I'm not my thinking. Yeah. So over the years, I realized, do I actually need to sit in that position? Well, someone who's got, let's say you've got bad knees and you can't sit cross-legged, does that mean you can't meditate? Well, no, because that would imply meditation is only available to this person. Yeah. If I don't have my finances sorted and I don't have financial freedom, does that mean I can't take time off to meditate or go and sit in the Himalayas and not have to worry about finances? Well, that would mean the people that are financially free can access this thing and nobody else can. Yeah. So I asked the question, I said, surely whoever created this universe is fair and that everybody has access to peace and happiness and joy and bliss. Because what are we all looking for? We're all looking for the same thing. Yeah. And so meditation isn't, if it's physical, if it's under a set of circumstances, that's not it. If it's a certain mindset and a certain way of thinking, that's not it. Because that would imply that I have to arrange my thoughts and try and arrange your thoughts. How difficult is it? Yeah. It would mean, does it mean to try and live in the Himalayas away from everybody and give up your duties as, say, a husband or a wife and give up your kids? Well, that would imply never have kids. Does that mean everybody that's got kids is doomed to failure? Surely not. And these are the questions I started to ask, and then I realized quickly, hold on a minute, I could be a multimillionaire, or I could be a guru sat in the Himalayas, but I've still got the same access to this piece that's in the back. I could be a criminal, or I could be a saint, but I still have access to that in the background. Yeah. And when you start to see it, a lot of teachers describe it as the blue sky. The clouds are like your thoughts, and they're like your emotions. They're like the world that you see, but behind that is a vastness of space, a quietness, a peace. And when you see the blue sky, what ends up happening is over time you overlook the clouds, and you start to remember your true nature, because you are always what you are. You cannot not be what you are, but you can mistaken yourself to be something that you're not. And a lot of the time, I was identifying with, I'm a yoga teacher, I'm a body, I'm what I think, I'm what I say, I'm what I wear. And so then obviously I'm trying to arrange all those things to meet a certain criteria. Yeah. To be a guru, to be enlightened, to be whatever, to be a good human. So I was setting myself up, I had to try and change something, but I can't be what I change. And I started to realize based off the back of everybody's teachings.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah.
So
I love the thought process of that. Yeah. And it's recently for me, it's like there's a void. I know there's a void in me still, like when we spoke about it, but it's a void of, there's some uncomfortability. Like when I've been speaking to my coach this week, of when I'm doing the fast, I'm getting like a knot in on back lower on my back. But then when I'm wanting to come and sit in these practices, or before I'm thinking and going and doing meditation, it's like, it's not that I smoke cannabis anymore, but I love the taste of it. It's like, oh, why don't you just go get that? Or why don't you just go why don't you go get a pack of cigars? Or why? It's wanting to fill it, and I'm starting to notice it. And just like I wanted to do a mushroom ceremony for myself for a while, and it's been a key thing having a coach is like, all the things that you're saying that you want mental clarity. Do you think these things are going to bring you mental clarity? I'm like, no, I can picture it in my head already. It's like having shaking up water and making it murky. I'm not able to see out when I murky it all up. It needs to be in stillness. And I think maybe this is why my body is reacting and pushing up certain boundaries to stuff, because it's wanting it, like you were saying, start to have a look at why it is in that area, to release it.
Here at Disciples of Truth, we're proud to partner up with Charlie's Apothecary. Charlie's got some cracking products. I mean cracking. And to start off with, it'd be cordyceps, and it's the first product I actually tried at Charlie's. It's a dual extraction, and cordyceps is renowned for natural energy booster, helps fight diseases, and it's great for sex drive for those that care to wish, and you can wish. But no, on a serious note, I don't like going to the gym. If you've got low energy, I don't like the pre-workouts. This is great with a few drops of water. Swig it down, swirl it around your mouth, and off you go. And it can be aided throughout the day. And then the next product we've got is my personal favourite, is the all blended salts. Salts gets a really bad rap through propaganda and doctors saying that we overuse it, when it's not true at all. To get the best salts in is one of the most natural ways of getting all the essential minerals into your body flow, so I'd give it a go. And it has Salinas del Carmen salt that originates from the Canary Islands, Fuerteventura, if you really want to know. It's one of the highest grades that you can have, and then it's got another three blends to go with. And the next product we've got, it really doesn't need an introduction. It's Shilajit. You must see it everywhere. It's got 85 trace minerals. It's good for energy, mental health, and clarity. And this is sourced from the Himalayan mountains. And I've tried many different brands of Shilajit, and I'd put this at the top of the ladder. And it's really nice packaging as well. And then last but not least is the oregano. It's the triple extraction. This is good for boost immunity, gut health, lowers cholesterol, fights inflammation, it aids weight loss. And I've just personally used this. The house got, some of his family members got sick, and it kept it off, and I haven't managed to get sick through it. Same again, put in water, swirl around the mouth. Brilliant products. What you also get from these products is it's handcrafted. He puts a lot of time and effort in and his team. It's UK only at the moment until it expands more. So it's only UK only, postage and packaging. What Charlie also does is he grows his own mushrooms. So we know that they're tried, tested, and they're also for freshness. So hit the link in the bio and go check out Charlie's new website. Looks at all his range of products is on there, and there's something for everyone. So yeah, go check it out, guys.
What do you find the most common problem with people coming to you with either mobility or like where are they finding the pains?
The biggest problem I've seen is it's the identification with the body. That doesn't seem like that's not the presenting problem.
Yeah.
But when you look at somebody and the way they are, you can tell they're trying to arrange the circumstances of their life or their body or their mind to try and avoid feeling certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you mentioned the body kicking up a fuss, that's because you're diving into it and you're going, hold on a minute, let me look at this. But that feeling makes us want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But it's not a problem to be solved. It's to be looked at. And then when you look at it, you might still take necessary actions. So if you break your leg, you might still take morphine. But what you're doing is you're being watchful as you go through that process. And then what you start to realize is, I'm not this body. Because when I identify with the body, so I use this with clients quite a lot. I'll share it with you actually. It's quite a funny one.
Yeah.
When somebody comes to your house and you think, oh, I want this house to look good. So I'll make sure I get some nice curtains in and a nice carpet and all this stuff. Because the house almost in a way represents them. And they're going, oh, I want the guests to feel a certain way about me. I want them to see me under a certain light.
Yeah.
So that thought, that thinking system has brought about the purchase of those particular types of curtains.
Yeah.
But if that person was, say, perhaps in their right mind and they weren't using that thought, and they had, rather than making a decision from a thought system which belonged in the world, and actually they were using the thought system of their soul, they might have chosen something totally different.
Yeah.
And so, I'm forgetting your original question now. It happens to me sometimes. I'm like, where have we gone here?
No, where do you find most of your clients? Where do they
Right.
get the discomfort coming from?
Right. Sorry. Yes. So yeah, you can see.
You're fine. I do stuff.
Yeah, I
go
lost my train of thought. Yeah. So
no, you're cool, mate.
The most of my clients come with usually some sort of flexibility issue.
Yeah.
They want to be able to move better.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, my clientele has changed over the years as I've changed.
Yeah.
The people that do spend more time with me, they want a healthier body. They want to feel good, but they're not just looking for that. Usually they want the meditation tools. They're up for learning about the philosophy of yoga.
Yes.
But the biggest problem I find is that they're looking for the solution in the wrong place.
Right.
And so it's a matter of how can I get them to see that the problem isn't out there by doing stuff with through the body.
Yeah.
It's going to the root cause, which is the level of the mind.
Yeah.
So we often think, okay, this problem has come about because this person did X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
But because they're so identified to thinking that way, or they're so used to thinking that way, they think, well, yeah, it's a given fact. Look, he did this, I got annoyed, or she did this and I got annoyed. Therefore, it's that person's problem.
Yeah.
But is that what's actually going on? And when you look at it, you're like, okay, there's an event came in, there was a sound vibration, the person spoke, they said something. And I don't know if you've heard of Bashar.
Yeah.
So Bashar talks about the shirt. If I say to you, Craig, I hate that pink shirt you've got on. You look like an idiot in that pink shirt. And you're like, I've not got a pink shirt on. You won't take offense to it because you don't have a pink shirt on.
Yeah.
You'd only take offense to it if you bought into that idea. And so a lot of the time we identify with this because that's what we've been conditioned to believe. And so when people come, their problem, they think they need a physical solution Can you give me a plan? Can you give me the right stretch for this? And sometimes somebody's not ready to hear the message of, no, that's not what you need. This is where the problem is. Sometimes I just give them what they need. And I've learned that through making a lot of mistakes. I've always tried to share the root cause with them.
Yeah.
But sometimes I've realized you've got to work with the developmental stage of that individual that's in front of you. So if a child, for example, needs stabilizers on their bike, you put them on, not because they'll never get beyond the stabilizers, but to take them straight to being on a big bike. They just don't have the limb length to reach the pedals.
Yeah.
So it's appropriate. And so I've realized I've learned how to tune in more to what people actually need rather than just giving them the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's rare that I get to share the depths of my learning.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah, I think also for me, what do you think the stigma is with mobility training? Because for me, it's knowing how, when I started doing certain stretches, I aren't as mobile as I thought I was. And then you also see the mountain that you've got to climb, and it's the baby steps. And because it seems really mundane and it's not exciting like lifting weights or, like the kettlebell workouts that I do, like you feel like you're getting somewhere. It's more slow. But I'm starting to realise there is that connection to your mind, and you're being more thoughtful and not just going hammer and tong.
Yeah.
And is there a stigma with males doing it more than females? They see like it's been yoga mats and
yeah. This is I think there's a lot of cultural conditioning here, isn't there? Like the males tend to do the weight training. We do the big weightlifting. We do all the kind of what you would consider the more aggressive, heavy style of movement or exercise, and then women would generally tend to do the more dance, softer style.
Yeah.
But as we're evolving as a species, you're seeing the kind of crossover now. People are doing more. Women are starting to weightlift, and it's really helping them, and more men are starting to do like stretching and mobility, and it's helping those as well.
Well, I want it for longevity. When I'm starting to look at Japan and they're like leading the way with a lot, you're starting to see like 90-year-olds in calisthenics parks. So that's where I want to go, is mobility. I want core strength and mobility, calisthenics and core strength. And I know them three will tie together really well. I'd like to get some kind of martial arts under my belt. I've just not got the hours in the day at the moment. I can overstretch myself very easy. Do you still practice martial arts, by the way?
In a very not the physical side, more the non-physical side, through the meditation. But I've realized, because I looked into Taoism as well, the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, and a lot of the teachings in that tally up with, say, the Hindu teachings and the yoga teachings, which also tally up with some of the Christian teachings. And so for me, I'm the kind of guy that I don't close doors, but I like to see the link between them.
Yeah.
And it seems as though imagine a wheel and you've got all the different spokes on it. The spokes converge on a center. Yeah. And each spoke is like a different school of thought, and they all lead in the same way. Yeah. They all seem to lead the same way.
Yeah. It's like the omnist outlook on it. Because I don't like to be tied to one religion either, and I think they've all got great teachings in them. If it can bring any more peace to your life and broaden your horizons on how you see the world and how you interact with it, why wouldn't you want to? Why would you devote yourself to just one practice and go, all rest is nothingness?
Yeah, and that's why I thought I need just pick the ones that resonate with you. So almost like forge your own path in a way, using the ones that are there, but you're taking a unique journey up the mountain, so to speak. So going back to your question about the mobility and the flexibility, it can be mundane. So some people, let's say you've just come off an injury, then doing, say, dynamic loaded movement would probably not be appropriate. Again, depends on what the injury is or where the person's at. So you've got to look at the individual.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do static stretching, and it can get a bit boring because that's not what they need right now.
Yeah.
If it's boring you and it's not challenging you and you're not seeing any result, it's time to take it to the next stage up. So if you think of learning the alphabet, you learn the individual letters.
Yeah.
But why do we learn letters? That's not an end in itself. The reason we learn letters is to be able to communicate. So you string words together, sentences, stories, etc.
Yeah.
So same with the body. What are we using the body for? And so usually I ask clients, like, what do you want to do with your body? Now, if you think of the world we live in, it's a physical world. There's certain physical laws which are self-evident if you pay attention.
Yeah.
If I drop something, it's going to fall. If I close my fist and I punch the wall, it's hard on hard. It's going to make a loud noise. It's going to hurt. I'm going to damage the wall. But if I softly touch the wall, I can feel it and I don't damage myself or the wall. So when I move through space, if I can learn to respond and work with the environment rather than against it, and I allow myself to feel the environment, then my movement is going to be much more graceful, fluid, less damaging, more efficient. So if you look at, would you buy a car which is clunky, out of shape, not built properly, is leaking fuel everywhere, makes a loud noise? I mean, boys, we like our loud noise cars, but overall, we're looking for effortlessness, grace, smoothness. And if you look at the way, let's use Tai Chi as an example, the way Tai Chi practitioners move is very smooth, graceful, and elegant. But if you're intending to be an MMA fighter, those elements are still there. I'm just now turning a slow, smooth movement into a fast, smooth movement with power behind it to have a different effect. So, but what are the common factors? Well, if something is, if I want to move through space, moving smooth, whether it's slow or fast, so I need the ability to move slow and fast. Let's say using a car as an example, but what's the joining link there? Smoothness. So I need to train to be smooth.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be a power lifter, for example, then I need to prioritize three main movements. But having a smooth lift where I'm strong from A to B and have no weakness along that journey, that's what I need to train for. So how do the muscles work? Well, muscles are like elastic bands attached to more firm structures like the bones, which is a little bit like bamboo. So there's a bit of flex in them.
Yeah.
But if my muscles now go stiff, then I'm going to lose that ability to move more freely through space.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be too soft, like a feather, where if I bend it, it's now out of shape. So I need to find that middle ground. And if you look at most things that people do, everybody walks, everybody sleeps, everybody sits, everybody breathes. Get those right first. That's your foundation. And then build your pyramid on top. So let's compare, say, someone who's just a husband and got 2 kids, whichever example, and they work in an office 9 to 5. Compared to, say, let's use Conor McGregor as an example. So what they use their body for, there's a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of differences.
Yeah.
They've all got, let's assume they're both functioning humans. They don't have any missing organs or limbs. They have the same organs. Their body works in a very similar way.
Yeah.
But Connor's going to be doing different things with his body. So he needs to condition his body under a different light. But they both still need to be able to move. So if you tailor your stretching around movement, rather than just saying, I'm tight here, let me stretch it, you're now directly linking that movement to something you're about to do.
Yeah.
So now you're seeing where stretching a particular set of muscles is going to link into a movement pattern. So I always say to clients, don't stretch individual muscles, stretch movements, because that movement is what's going to translate to something in real life.
Yeah.
But I don't just want to be flexible. I want to be strong across that entire range of movement so that when I get to my end ranges, I'm not going to pop a joint or something or tear a muscle.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people doing more like primitive moving. I've seen one of yours the other day where you look like a tit at the start, but once you've nailed it, you don't look so much like a tit anymore. But they're the kind of motions that I want to move through. When I was watching, he's an American mobility guy, and he was doing simple things. I was like, I can do that. And when I dropped down, I'm like, I can't do that at all. They're not even. So you realise there's a bar that you want to get to as well. It's just about progression, isn't it? What would be your advice for, I can't meditate cross-legged if I haven't got a pillow underneath? It's the legs down. What kind of advice would you give for that, for starting off?
So
I'm being cheeky here, but
no, that's fine. Go ahead, mate, because it's a common question. To be fair, people ask about the hips.
Yeah.
So you've got the short-term fix, which is do some sort of physical stretching, do some sort of physical movement, and then the longer-term fix is to unpick why the hips are tight in the first place.
Yeah.
And usually it's something on a mental level.
Yeah.
I won't go too much into that now because that's where it gets a bit more esoteric.
Yeah.
If we stick to the physical for now.
Yeah.
So if you look at how the body works, so if you look at the human anatomy on paper, it's designed perfectly to live in this 3-dimensional space.
Yeah.
It can just move in so many different ways. It's a perfect vessel to navigate this environment.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, we've got missing bits, we've got tight bits, we've got weak muscles, over too strong muscles, whatever. There's imbalances, and it's can we figure out why it's imbalanced in the first place, and that's where the esoteric stuff comes in.
Yeah.
For the short term fix, if we look at what we're trying to do, so we're in hip external rotation, spine's in its neutral upright position. So we need to look at, because it's going to be different for different individuals, the muscle mass, the bone length, how tight the muscles are, how well they move. So when you get into hip external rotation, the way the muscles move is like a rotational force going through. However, if that's not coming through properly because of, say, something going on higher up the chain, we need to address the whole system.
Yeah.
And there's a guy, I don't know how he's to say his second name, Naudi Aguila. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. He's created a thing called functional patterns. That guy he's on it. That is the future of addressing movement imbalances. It's incredible what he does. But what he does is he looks at addressing the system, the way people move. So let's say, for example, you see it quite a lot, people with flared ribs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you breathe with flared ribs, if that's become your default and you're stuck there and you're not like what's on an anatomy chart, then every time you breathe, you're not able to get a full breath.
Right.
Now, I could have the best running program and I could have really good running times with that. But would it be better if I addressed my rib cage imbalance so I could take a deeper breath? Well, let's find out. And so what I'm looking to do is get my body as close to the anatomy chart as possible using a variety of different systems, what works, what doesn't work. So for some people, they get really good results with yoga. The functional patterns guy, when they do stuff, it's like they're transferring weight in different planes of movement. Yeah. And what it does is it addresses the entire system all at once.
Oh, cool.
So it's not just stretching the hip. So traditionally we'd say, right, get into the 90-90 stretch. I don't know if you've seen that. Yeah. That can help address hip imbalance. But because most of your weight's on the floor, the hip's not actually loaded. So in terms of that transferring to, say, a stronger running pattern or a walking gait, it might not transfer as effectively. Yeah. But if I did something like, say, a banded movement or a 3-dimensional movement with some sort of weight bearing, where, like a throw, for example, what I'm doing now is I'm training the structure as one single piece. So rather than training that joint in isolation, I'm training it as part of a larger system. Yeah. So if I was to do it without any equipment and not drawing upon the functional patterns guy, because I've not done that training, so I can't talk about functional patterns. I can recommend people go there, but the way I would do it without any equipment, being because not everybody can access certain teachers or tools. Stuff like the scorpion stretch. So you're on your front, put your arms to the side, take the leg over and around the back. Now what that does is you get into spine rotation, your pelvis is turning, but then you're also going into hip extension. Yeah. So I'm stretching the front of the hip, but I'm doing it as a dynamic stretch.
I found it difficult doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're finding that a challenge, but you're also finding it, this is where the too much and too little comes in. Yeah. So if it feels like it's too much, because you can tell, you'll just know, and you feel like it's actually not having a positive effect, then you might want to do something a bit less. Yeah. You might want to do static stretching instead. Yeah. But if someone's going, oh my God, that feels really nice, then it's on the right track until it's no longer having that nice effect.
Yeah. I think we forget how we can move as bodies as well. And this is where I found it so interesting. And this is where social media has been such a great tool of opening your perception to it and seeing how, and you're like, I really don't move like that. And even like when we do the shred fast on the morning, they do yoga movements. And even my friend who comes in, like, it feels amazing that. I'm like, it does. And they're only like 3 to 5 minutes of doing it. It's some things definitely pointing me in the way of doing yoga, because I've definitely, like you say, on the esoteric side of it, I know that a lot of emotions get trapped in the hips, and it's just, how would you say to release that? Do you do it intentionally? Do you ask your soul to let it out, or do you ask the body to release it as well as you're mindfully doing yoga? How's that kind of paired up?
So what I would say is, I don't tend to, sometimes I do. Again, it depends on who I'm speaking to, but there's no general rules of thumb.
Right.
There's the principles.
Yeah.
So I use this analogy, which it came to me when I think I was on a mushroom experience, actually.
Yeah.
And I saw individuals as different Rubik's Cubes, like puzzles to solve.
Yeah.
But you're your own puzzle to solve, because nobody is got access to that body except you.
Yeah.
So someone external can come to you, but they're always going to a true teacher will point you to yourself.
Yeah.
Not away from yourself. So when I'm with clients, I'll say, look, I can help you from the outside, but you've got access to more information. You're in that body. You can experience it from the inside out. So there's a lot of information I don't have access to. The more info I've got, the more data I've got. Now I can use that data if I look at the data.
Yeah.
So AI just pulls in lots of data. The more data it gets, the smarter it gets. We've got the same ability, but people aren't paying attention. So in your meditations, when you start paying attention to what's going on, when you feel, oh, my hips are tight, and you want to move, allow yourself to move. There's nothing wrong with it. Mm-hmm. The only reason we think that we shouldn't move is because this position is superior to having your legs out in front. But who said that? What's there? Because each body and each individual is trying to unravel and tangle itself. So Alan Watts talks about muddying the water, and the best way to clear muddy water is just to leave it. So nature is, and they talk about this in Taoism, the process of wu wei. I don't think I'm saying that right. Wu wei.
Yeah.
Effortless living.
Yeah.
When nothing in the Tao Te Ching, when nothing is done, nothing is left undone. What does that mean? And the Course in Miracles says, I need do nothing. It doesn't mean physically do something. It doesn't mean I don't need to stress about what I'm doing. I don't need to overthink things. And I don't know if you've seen Top Gun Maverick.
I haven't, no.
Have you not seen Top Gun? Oh, it's a great film. Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I can't stand him. That's
all right, okay, fine.
No.
I
don't feel offended. I don't feel offended at all. It's just, there's certain actors I can't watch.
Yeah, I know,
like,
a lot of people
he's
say
one.
that. I love
See,
Tom
I like
Cruise.
Will Smith, and people are like, he's just
so
corny, and I'm like, I like him.
Yeah, but there's a line in Top Gun Maverick, because they're basically fighter pilots, and I've heard this in martial arts as well, where if you think in Top Gun Maverick, he says, don't think, just do. But that means being in that flow state, where in any sport, if you look at it, if you're thinking too much, especially in a combat situation, oh, let me just punch him there. He's moved. That opponent's moved.
Yeah.
You've just got to be in the now.
Yeah.
And that's why combat sometimes is a very useful situation, because it puts you in that state. But what people do is they seek that in that situation. But it's, can you cultivate that flow state in your day-to-day?
Yeah.
So even washing the dishes, or putting the laundry on, or mowing the lawn, or taking the trash out is a combat situation.
Yeah.
And that's what the true martial arts teach.
That's what it feels like. When I'm doing anything like that, my mind's on to the next 10 things, and I'm like mapping it on.
Yeah. And it's training the energy. And so if we can practice responding to the now. Now, the way you're sat over there, I'm sat here, but our bodies are different. We're experiencing a different body. It's the same spirit. Mm-hmm. There's only one spirit. Now, I'm not going to talk about that now. You can go and explore that.
No.
But when I first heard that, I just thought, really? There's only one spirit? On investigation, I found that to be true as an experience. But at first, it was just an intellectual exercise. But anyway, the body that's there and the body that's here, what makes me comfortable might not make you comfortable. Your height's different. Your internal processes are different. So I might, right in this moment, I prefer to sit with my legs crossed. I just allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
But in the past, I was taught, you must always sit like this. You must, because it means this. But if I take that judgment away of what it means, what does it mean? Why does it matter if I sit Does that mean I'm not paying attention because I'm sat like this?
Yeah.
Or because I've yawned in class? Doesn't mean I'm not paying attention. It's just a belief that's been passed around. I could still be like this. I could still be looking over there and paying so much attention to you.
Yeah.
Because that's my experience. But someone else's experience might be, he's being rude.
Yeah.
He's not making eye contact. But that's a belief that I've picked up. This, if somebody doesn't make eye contact, means they're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
Yeah.
And Byron Katie, in her, it's called The Work, that's one of the questions she asks is that true? Is it, or is it just a belief?
Yeah.
Is Santa real? Is it Santa that's coming down the chimney, or is it just your mum and dad putting something there and they've worked their ass off for it?
Yeah.
You know, so if you look at the reality of the situation, what does it actually mean, or am I just judging it? What I'm doing is I'm allowing my internal processes to guide my behavior. So if somebody says to me, Rakesh, you need to feel the burn to build a muscle, you need to push yourself hard. Okay, so I'm pushing myself hard, right?
Yeah.
But what does that burn feel like for me, and what does it feel like for you? How do I not know that what I'm feeling is constructive or destructive?
Yeah.
And that's when I started to ask that question. I was like, hold on a minute. This feels like it's damaging my nervous system, this burn that I'm feeling. Now, when you burn yourself, what happens? You damage the nerve endings, right? What happens to a tree when you burn it? The leaves no longer grow there, it goes hard. What happens when you continually burn something? It goes hard.
Yeah.
So is it no wonder that people that excessively lift weights go stiff and hard? So that kills the natural life force flowing through the body. So water can't flow through this floor because it's hard, but water can flow into grass and it grows new life, which sustains life.
Yeah.
So the harder we get and we put defenses up, we close ourselves off from the natural cycles of life. So to soften up to nature is the process, but your body's in a different combination of the Rubik's Cube. So let's say you've got a Rubik's Cube and I've got one, but they're both totally different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the way I'm going to solve mine is going to be different to how you solve yours. It's the same principles.
Yeah.
We're under the same laws, under the same rules of the game, but how I solve mine is different to yours. Now, we might have something called a left turn and a right turn and a flipping of the cube upside down. Now, where you are in your puzzle, your next move to get to where you want to be, to completing the puzzle, might be a right turn. My next move might be a left turn.
Yeah.
But you've still got the option to do a left turn and I've still got the option to do a right turn. So there's many tools out there, but who decides what tool to use? You do. And what I find is people are asking other people what tool to use and when. So what I teach clients now is there's tools out there. They're all useful. And sometimes you're not going to use all of them. You might never even know. You might not even use any of them at all. Some of them you might only just use one. But you've got to decide what resonates with you. What do you feel like? Now, I stopped lifting weights. I started to feel healthier. I stopped doing intense circuits. I started feeling better. So my training over the years has changed. And as I've listened more to what my intuition is telling me, my body's unraveled more. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel great. I can breathe better. My running's got better, faster. My posture's got better. I don't sweat as much.
Yeah.
I sleep better. But why? Not because of what I was doing, but because of why I was doing what I was doing. And what I find is a lot of us are still in the classroom. We're still sat there. Miss, what do I do? Tell me what to do. How do I think? Right, you need to get your homework done by 6:00 tonight. I need it in by tomorrow. Whereas naturally what you want to do is go and play football.
Yeah. Externalizing your power more than actually being led by yourself.
Letting someone else make the decision for you.
Yeah. I think that's what it used to be like me going to the gym. I didn't really know what I was doing, so I'd get into a set routine and then I'd get plateaued and it'd be boring. But now, like, I've tried different exercise regimes. I could write out my own plan. There's no need for anyone else. Like, and then you start getting more creative. And then you also see stuff on Instagram or whatever it may be, whatever platform you see it on, of someone else doing else. And you're like, oh, I'll put that into my routine as well. You can kind of start being creative with it. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And making it childlike again, making it fun.
Exactly. Excuse me again.
No, you're cool.
I think that when you look, there's definitely utility for having a teacher, but the teacher's goal is to set you free effectively, not to keep you there. And I think the same with leaders. A leader's role isn't to have followers, it's to create more leaders, i.e. to be able to lead your own life, to show you how to do that. So I think sometimes, I used to have a thing against the school system, but in ways now I'm looking back and thinking, do you know what? The school system can be great.
Yeah.
It's just how you look at it. But there's got to come a point where you use what you've learned and you apply it. And that's when you go from learning stage to creating stage. And when you start to create your life and you start to come from within rather than being influenced externally, you're able to navigate life. Yeah. And so we're all going to go through the highs and lows of life. And this is what yoga teaches. The body's like a boat on the ocean. On one side of the ocean is you are where you are now. You've not really explored life. You've not gone into the depths of yourself. And we're looking to reach the other shore. And the other shore is this thing called enlightenment or self-actualization, if we're going off Maslow's hierarchy of needs. In fact, on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, not many people know this, but the original model, do you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yeah.
So the original model was 5 tiers, and at the top was self-actualization, where you're fulfilling your deepest desires physically here. In the 1970s, Maslow himself updated the model and he added 3 extra layers to it. I can't remember the third one. One was aesthetics, so we seek beauty. Yeah. But then the top one that he added was transcendence. And that's where the spiritual realm comes in. So transcendence, and this is what yoga teaches, is you're realizing your true self. You're realizing that you're not a body, that you're already whole, complete, and perfect on a spiritual level. And self-realization or transcendence is about seeing that you don't need to better yourself. You're already perfect and whole. And that we're in the world, but not of it. Yeah. And so this becomes a place where we can share that divinity. And in using that analogy of crossing the ocean, the body's like the boat. Yeah. So once you've learned how to navigate the seas through life experience and through learning, you can cross the shore.
Yeah. Yeah, because they also say, like, when Christ walked on water, and they're like, I've seen a lot of comments on Facebook, and people are like, oh, right, so if we're gods, I want to see you walk on water. I'm like, it's not to be taken literal. Like, he's on about walking on your emotions, not letting it bother you. Like, not that actually, he might have walked on water, but it's a beautiful way to look at it as well, isn't it? It is a beautiful way of knowing that you are whole, because when you're in that frequency of you are whole and you don't need anything, but you're also grateful for this whole experience, that's when the feedback loop starts feeding you all that. Yeah. Because you're grateful for it. You're not chasing anything.
Yeah.
And we've all fallen into that trap.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. So in A Course in Miracles, it talks about we were created perfect, whole and complete and holy. But then this mad idea came into our mind, which was we're separate from God. We're separate from each other. The world is dangerous. We need to fight for survival. Life ends with death, and everything's just doom and gloom, basically. And what it is they call it the split mind, where you've got part of your mind which is holy, and the idea of the ego has crept in. And ego is everything based in fear, fearful thought. So you're seeing yourself as you're not. So it's all to do with misperception. So one person could see that. I'll use football as an example. You've got Man United fans, you've got Liverpool fans. They're both just football teams. It's just different names, different towns or cities. But some of them hate each other, but it's just to do with perception. Yeah. That's all the difference is. Now, they could both, if they both got rid of those perceptions, where would they be? All they would see is a team. And so what the course is aimed at doing is to get rid of the thoughts, or stop believing in the thoughts which are false about yourself. Yeah. So if you say to yourself, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm separate from God, oh my God. And a lot of these thoughts are subconscious. They come as feelings, not as actually conscious thoughts. What the course is aimed at doing is getting into your subconscious and really looking at it and going, is this true about me? Yeah. And what we'll find is it's not true. And then what happens is it becomes our experience that it is true. Yeah. Initially, it's just, whatever, Rax, that's not true. How can I be perfect? Nah. And you're telling someone, by the way, you're amazing. And you're like, no, I'm not. Stop telling me I'm amazing. And they punch you in the face, which is what happened to Jesus, right? Yeah. Jesus tried to tell everyone how great they were. And, they crucified him. Yeah. The journey for me has been, these ideas came about because I was suffering. I was like, there's got to be an answer. There's got to be another way than what I've tried already. And I tried all the different avenues, making more money, getting my own online business, trying to set up an online store, ebook, and sell all this stuff. It didn't work. I wasn't satisfied at all. Being in a relationship, having my own business, doing meditation, doing yoga. And ultimately, I've come full circle, and that's where the Course in Miracles was like an absolute godsend.
Yeah, sounds amazing. It's on that self-discovery of that quest, isn't it, that it starts to open up all these new doors, and you're meeting new people like yourself, and I really, really enjoyed like speaking to you. And I found it like, normally I can catch up, but the way that you were talking, I was trying to process it at the same time, which is really interesting because there's a lot that I've got to go away and think about. What's the most profound moment you've had, like in a yoga session, or has there been something really profound before?
You mean when I'm teaching, or just my own personal?
Just your own personal experience, or it might be within practice with other people teaching.
So you know what? I'll draw upon a question you asked earlier about the meditation side.
Yeah, cool.
So when I do get a chance to practice meditation sat, I usually sit on the end of my bed because I can't sit. I can sit cross-legged, even as a yoga teacher, but after a while, my knee, because I've got a bit of an injury on this side, on my left side, I can't sit. So I just come out and I sit on the end of my bed. Mm-hmm. I'll practice the state that I want to be in when I'm busy doing stuff. So I'll have experiences and messages come through when my mind is silent, when I'm in the perfect conditions. But then I'm like, okay, I need to take this out there into the world when I'm living my daily life. So the next stage for me is when I'm doing my own training. I'll go into the gym. I don't have a plan. I just do what my body feels like it wants to do. And sometimes what happens is I'm doing a movement and I'll watch the thoughts that are arising before I do that movement. And I'll catch myself and go, hold on a minute. I'm repeating the same mental process here. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about this, where I'm thinking the same thoughts, I'm feeling the same things, and I'm then therefore doing the same thing and I'm expecting a different result. I need to change the way I think. But what do I think? Because if I could think better, I'd already choose that. So instead, what I do is I watch and I go, hold on a minute. I've caught myself thinking the same thing. Let me just pause a minute. And when I pause, sometimes what happens is, in that gap, a random thought just pops in and I'm like, whoa, okay, that's different. And then I'll go with that new thought into the same movement. And all of a sudden, like my handstand's different. I'm like, whoa, it's an immediate physical shift because I've thought differently. But I didn't choose to think differently. I allowed a new thought to enter. Yeah. Because you can only hold a certain amount of thoughts in your conscious mind. But when there's space, new things can flow in. Yeah. And so I've realized that if I go into my session in that meditative state with an empty mind, things just come through me. And I've noticed it in classes as well sometimes. And I've noticed with the people in the room affects what comes through. And if I'm able to stay conscious, sometimes you just see new things happening and you're like, that was like a miracle, that. Yeah. But I'm not doing it. I'm just allowing it to come through by getting out of the way. Yeah. And
well, it's touching into that flow state and just getting out of your own way. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting you said that because I am going to take that forward because over the last, forever, I've been thinking the same thoughts. It's got to a point where it starts to beat you down, doesn't it? Mm. And I thought it is about taking that time to just breathe and let that inner voice talk. And it is the whisper. It's not the one that keeps on just shouting over top. Yeah. You're just like, I'm sick of this. Why won't it go? But you get in. You just go in with motions sometimes, aren't you?
Yeah, we're on autopilot, and that's what it means to say that we're asleep. Yeah. And to awaken is to awaken in the dream. So they say that this is a dream. And whether it is or not, it doesn't matter. It's deal with the facts in front of you. Yeah. What does it mean to awaken? It's an experience that you're not currently having. And what I've seen over the years and using the teachings and the books that I've read over the years, there's got to be some sort of experience which lets you know you're on the right path. Mm-hmm. And the experiences that I've had are more peace, more groundedness, less agitation, less of the negative emotions, and more of the higher emotions. So I don't know if you know of the Hawkins scale of consciousness.
Yes, yeah.
And if you look at the higher end of the Hawking scale of consciousness, they're the more natural states of being. And it's not a matter of, Abraham Hicks talks about, do you know Abraham Hicks? Yeah. Holding the cork down. If you hold the cork down, it takes effort. But if you let go of the cork, it will naturally rise to the surface. Naturally, love wants to come through us, but we're pushing it back down. And that's when we get angry and tense. So the body then becomes like a fortress.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, I'm staying in here. No, stay away from me.
Yeah.
Your defense is up. But when you allow love to come through, what happens is the body starts to become a vehicle of expression, like a musical instrument. And everybody has a unique expression, and the world deserves to see that. But we've blocked it in there with, oh, I can't say that because she might think this or he might think that. Oh no, I should have said this instead. When actually, no, you should have said that.
It's speaking your truth, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it'll either magnetize people to you or repel them, and that's how it's supposed to be. Because that's the way you view the world. And it's not, I find it interesting. A lot of people do hold themselves back, and then people would, they put themselves where they need to be. It's really interesting. What's, I've lost my train of thought now.
In that silent space, that's right.
Where do you think we should be as a society then, teaching mobility and yoga or these practices and meditation? What age do you think it should be starting, and do you think there should be in schools, or do you think we should just be naturally guided to it?
Good question. Do you know what? As a species, I don't think, okay, we've made a lot of mistakes, but we're learning. Yeah. And even now we're learning. I personally don't think somebody intentionally goes out there to destroy and harm. They do that because they're disillusioned. They're not in their right mind. Father, forgive them for they not know what they do.
Yeah.
So Jesus knew that they weren't in their right minds. That's why they killed him. And so, I think there's a lot of stuff that happens just because people aren't in their right minds. Eventually we'll get there. And I think eventually what might happen is we do have more meditation time in schools and movement in schools. We don't necessarily have to call it yoga. It could be gymnastics. It could just be movement class. Yeah. Where we're learning about how our bodies work, just like how we learn about how physics works or electricity works or how maths works. Why don't we learn about our body and emotions? Like we've talked about, what does it mean? Why don't we learn about finances, how mortgages work, or how the economy works, even at that age, in a very simple way. And I'm seeing now schools are doing a lot of this. It has changed a lot. And even kids nowadays, you look at them and they're a lot more polite. I'm like, these kids are great. You can have a real deep conversation with them at a very young age. A lot of them are in good shape. I mean, there's a lot of downsides too.
Yeah. But depends where you're focusing your attention.
Yeah, I see a lot of positives. But I think I'd love to see more of that.
Yeah.
But I also think that even if we don't get there, we can always make the most of what we've got.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned. I always thought that I need a certain amount of money to be happy or a certain diet to be happy.
Yeah.
But some of us don't have access to that.
Yeah.
So how can you stay healthy? Let's say if you've got a very low income, or all you've got access to is really crappy food or no teachers or no internet.
Mm-hmm.
Surely, how can you use those circumstances to be healthy, happy, loving, compassionate, and kind?
Yeah.
And the answer is you can. It's in here. It's inside.
It's the intention behind it as well, and it's also being grateful. And there's always a choice as well to make a better choice out of the two that you get approached with. Really.
Yeah. Like you said earlier, it's who do you listen to?
Yeah.
And I think, is it the Native American saying about the wolf there's two wolves inside of you?
What is that?
I can't remember what it is now. It's like, which wolf do you feed?
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact thing. Do you know which one I'm on about?
Yeah.
I wish I remembered it now. It's quite good,
you've remembered a lot.
Yeah.
You can articulate it a lot better than I can anyway with alt names.
Lots of book reading, mate.
See, I find I've got a lot of books I can only read for so long. I think it's like the podcasts for me, or watching videos of the teachings. They seem to sink straight in. And it's something, I think it's just learning. And that's my way of learning.
Yeah.
I'm a visual learner more than all else. I find that I go to sleep very quickly if I start reading, even if it's through middle of the day.
Right.
Or you could just say that I'm really tired. No. What are you excited about then with the future? What's coming about now in this space?
Oh, Lush, a great question. So I feel like I've come full circle. I've built a life on rocky foundation, on poor foundations, poor values. That's come crumbling down. I've rebuilt the foundation and I feel like my life's rebuilding now. So I met my current partner and she's great. I've met her son and we're starting this, like we're building a family and it's incredible. I've just got a new job and I'm really excited to start it. Not because of, in the past I would have looked at where I'm working and how much I'd be making.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, that's an important factor, but it's on the it's like towards the bottom of the list of priorities. I'm looking at, is it meaningful work? Does it resonate with my values and where I'm going in life? And I'm like, this job is for me. So I feel like what's coming now is I'm going to be able to share these tools with people. And each step now feels fulfilling in itself. It doesn't feel like I'm unfulfilled and I'm trying to get somewhere to fulfill myself.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm already fulfilled. So each step is a fulfilled step.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is exciting because I don't know where it's going to lead now.
It's like a full cup. And
Yeah.
knowing where, like, prioritizing if you're going to feel energized at the end of the day, like, because you know that you're doing something that you love. And a lot of people aren't doing that. They just, most the common answer I get is about, oh, do you enjoy your job? Well, it pays bills. I'm like,
Yeah.
You've really got to start asking you that.
I know.
We're working at a guy's other day and he says, he's worked his way up this major finance company. But he's like, I was only supposed to be there for 2 years and I worked my way up. I went, that's good. At least you know you've gone up. But you don't know, do you? There's a lot of people that don't go in with intention of where the happiness lies and what it's going to give off. So, no. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave for the listeners?
Do you know what? One thing I would say, because I wish someone had said this to me.
Yeah.
And I did hear it, but I'm much older. All the answers that you're looking for are within. I'm traditionally a Hindu, and one of the deities that we worship is Lord Krishna.
Yeah. And
Lord Krishna has a flute, and so for me, the flute is the body, and when the flute is open and empty, you've got the apertures, the holes. The spirit dwells within, which is Krishna. God is within. Yeah. The spirit is within. And when you allow that, your true spirit to come through unimpeded, without the distortion of the ego, it will come through pure and it will play beautiful music. And you will know, because when you hear beautiful music, what do you tend to do? Oh, who's playing that? You want to go towards it. So when you start attracting things into your life because you purified yourself, you've let go of the ego, the distortion, the blocks, that true self is naturally going to come through. You won't be able to stop it because it feels so divine. And then you will radiate this divine light and that will help others to radiate their light. And then the world will just become much brighter. Yeah. And that's how we raise the frequency of something, because as more electricity comes through, metaphorically speaking, the brightness of the bulb gets brighter. Yeah. So if you think of the earth like a bright bulb, as each of us as little conduits of electrical energy, because our nervous system is just electric, right? Yeah. As I'm anchoring and allowing more electrical energy to come through, I grow brighter. It gives you permission to grow brighter. It gives others permission to grow brighter. And then, because we live together on this planet, right? It's one home. We're all in this together. We live in a very bright world with lots of energy flowing through. And so we're no longer trying to get from others. Yeah. We're just sharing with each other. And then there's an abundance of light.
Yeah. So, that's what it feels like at the moment, that everyone's trying to collaborate and trying to make the world brighter. It is like, it's been really inspiring, this conversation today. There's a lot for me to go away and unpack, but it's made me feel a lot lighter within myself. And also you do your coaching, and definitely after getting involved in that, to be honest, with what you've been saying. So you can find the link in the bio, can't you, on your page, and we can go forward. But no, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
On. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Honestly, I really appreciate you having me on. It's such an honor. Big time. For someone to hold space like this, I think it is very easily overlooked. Like mothers, when they hold space, mothers do a lot in the background. I think it's quite very underappreciated, especially by the work environment. And what you've done here is, it's like, this is the pot and I'm like the plant growing in it, but you're the one that's allowing it to grow. Without you, mate, this wouldn't be.
Thank you.
So,
Well,
thank
it's
you.
not all me, mate. It's not all me. You can't take all credit. But no, thank you. And thank you for sharing about your ex and feeling comfortable to share them stories.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate. Bless.
Cheers.